Two smartwatches, same price, different brands. The Fossil Gen 5e and the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2. These two watches are still some of the best. Now, you've been requesting this comparison quite a lot, so here we go. My name is Leonard, you're watching the product reviewer, and yeah, that's me. So what are the categories that we are comparing today? So first up, we have the battery life. Next up, we have the features that we get with these two watches. Third are the activity tracking features like the sleep tracking, heart rate tracking, workouts, and so on. Number 4 will be the navigation, and for last, some specs. So let's start with the navigation first. And on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2, you have two different ways of navigating through your tiles. You can either do it the old-fashioned way of just swiping up and down, left and right, or you can use the haptic bezel to get to your next tile, which I love about the Samsung watches. Swiping down takes you to your quick panel, right to your notifications, and left takes you through your different widgets, to which you can add new ones anytime you want to. You also have two physical buttons on the side. The lower one takes you straight to the app menu, and the upper one takes me to the Samsung Pay. So the Fossil 5e works a little bit different. You do not have a rotatable bezel, so swiping left and right, up and down is the only way of navigating through your different tiles, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. Through the one physical button on the side, you have quick access to your app menu, but unlike with the Fossil 5e, this one is not rotatable. Swiping down takes you to your quick panel, which cannot be edited like the Active 2. But to be honest, if you have more than one page of quick access widgets in your quick panel, it's not that quick anymore. But anyways, swiping up takes you to your notifications, right to the Google Voice Assistant, and left takes you through all your different tiles, to which you can add new ones as well. Okay, so much for the navigation. But what features do we get with these two watches? Of course, both have sleep and heart rate tracking, a weather widget, and an app store where you can download new apps. On both watches, you can also reply to messages like from WhatsApp. You can either choose one of the quick reply answers, type your own text, use the speech to text feature, or on the Active 2, you can even draw the letters, which may look nice, but typing is definitely my preferred way. Why don't you tell me in the comments below what your preferred way is, if it's typing, talking, or do you always take out your smartphone to reply to any messages? Spotify might be one of the bigger differences between these two watches. So you do have access to your tracks, podcasts, and playlists on both watches. And you have full music control, like skipping a track, going back a track, playing pause, and you can adjust the volume. But the Active 2 has a distinct advantage. You can put this one in standalone mode for offline listening, which might be a deal breaker. So you can basically download your playlists and tracks and listen to them offline when you're doing workouts like running outside. So you actually don't need your smartphone anymore, which is great. The Fossil Gen 5e and the Active 2 both have a voice assistant. Now the 5e is using Google Voice Assistant, which is working perfectly fine in my opinion. The Samsung Active 2 is using Bixby, which actually does the same job, but I noticed that it's taking a whole lot longer until you get your answers. It seems to me that it's processing the words a lot slower. Also, the 5e is getting distracted by background noises a whole lot more, which makes it that you sometimes do not get an answer. The watch faces are the next point on my list. Both have a whole bunch of watch faces, and you can even download more in the App Store. Both are customizable, and only the Active 2 has a slight advantage as they are a little bit more customizable. First up, some of your watch faces have emotion, so they look a whole lot better. On the 5e, you can only change the quick access to the app, whereas on the Samsung, you can change the colors on your digital watch faces and the background on the analog watch faces. So it may not be a big difference, but surely it's a lot more fun than on the 5e. Okay, now let's head over to the battery life. And in that department, both watches are actually equally good. Both have different battery saving modes, and both last about 1 day if you have the always on display mode turned on. You can choose between a time only mode, a power saving mode on the Active 2, which is the equivalent to the extended mode on the 5e, and you have the standard, aka the daily mode. Only the charging time on the 5e is a little bit faster with 60 minutes, and the Active 2 takes about 90 minutes until they are fully charged. The next big differences of these two watches are the specs. Now, the Gen 5 has a 1.19-inch AMOLED touch display with a respectable resolution of 390 by 390 pixels. It also is water resistant up to 3 ATM and is operating on the Wear OS system. Now, through the 1 GB of internal RAM, everything on this watch runs super smoothly. Don't matter if you open up apps or swipe into the next tile, you will have no lagging at all. You also have 4 GB of internal storage, so you can download all the apps in the world. even though half of it is occupied by certain relevant stuff. Now, of course, you have a mic and a speaker. This watch is compatible with iOS and Android smartphones, and you have NFC for contactless payment once your credit card is hooked up. The Samsung Active 2 has a slightly bigger screen with 1.2 inches, but you only have 360 by 360 pixel, which is still decent in my opinion. This watch is operating on Tizen OS. You have 4 GB of internal storage, even though you can only use 1.4, and you have slightly less RAM with 750 megabytes. The bigger difference is that you have built-in GPS with the Active 2. So you have GPS, Baidu, GLONASS, and Galileo. This watch is also water resistant up to 5 ATM, which is again slightly better than on the 5E, and this watch is definitely a whole lot lighter. Of course, the smartwatch is also compatible with iOS and Android, and you have NFC. So overall, spec-wise, the Active 2 is slightly better than the 5E, but the difference is not that big. And now let's get to my last point, the activity tracking. So like I already told you, both watches have a sleep and heart rate tracker. You have a burn calorie counter and a step counter, and you have guided breathing exercises. Both watches have a huge variety of different sport modes like winter and extreme sports, the usual stuff like walking, cycling, and running. And only the 5E has no real swim mode, since this one is not suitable for swimming. Accuracy wise, I couldn't find any big differences, as both were keeping track with my house stats pretty good. And folks, that's already it for the video. If you liked it, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, also click the notification bell so you will never miss out on any new content. I upload new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And with that being said, see you next time. Peace.